Hello and welcome. This is our very, very first Miracle Babies Foundation live. I'm so excited. So hopefully everything goes well. I'm just learning the new technology and that we get through this all okay. So my name is Melinda Cruz. I am the founder of Miracle Babies Foundation and also the mother of 3 Miracle Babies. I'll see if I can get them up on the screen so you can see them. So these are my boys. I had Elijah at 34 weeks, Dylan at 27 weeks, and Jasper after a cervical stitch at 12 weeks. And then 14 weeks on bed rest, I did hold him to 37 weeks. So I've been through the experience 3 times, and I will share you what they look like today, all grown up and absolutely incredible and beautiful. Jasper's 14, Dylan's 16, and Elijah is 18. So it's really exciting to have you across today. With Miracle Babies, it was started a year after Dylan was born. So we are in our 15th year, which is absolutely incredible. We had so much planned this year, so many events and things that we wanted to do, but obviously with COVID, we were very restricted, but it's still been a year of celebration for us. And November is really special because in Australia, it's NICU Awareness Month. So there's 2 special days that we celebrate across the month. One is World Prematurity Day, which it will happen on the 17th of this month, and our very own Thank You NICU Day, where we can thank the hospitals and the staff and everyone that's helped our babies, and that will be on the 26th of the month. So along with all of our programs and services for families of sick and premature babies, it's also part of our mission to provide a parent voice to research and to help in developing better care for NICU babies. I've been a part of research as a consumer rep for about 8 years now, and it's absolutely amazing and so rewarding to be able to give back and actually, be your voice and your advocate and be able to help advanced care for our babies. So this month, in addition to our online campaigns and events, there are 2 really important projects that we are a part of and that we wanted to highlight. One of them is about changes to government paid parental leave. And if you've been following us for a while, it was actually part of our campaign last November. So that continues, and that looks at ways that we can better support families who have long stays in hospitals with their babies through the paid parental leave scheme. So if that interests you, we're going to be chatting same time next week about that. And then the other one is our focus today, and that's a research project called Be Sweet to Babies, which looks at pain management for our little ones while they're in the NICU. And that's led by Professor Denise Harrison. So I'm going to bring her on. Let's work out how to do that. There we go. Hi, Denise.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. I'm just going to share a little bit about you so everyone knows who you are. So Denise is a professor of nursing at the University of Melbourne. She recently moved back to Melbourne, and this was just before lockdown with COVID, wasn't it?
Yes.
From Canada. So from 2011, she was at the University of Ottawa and the Children's Hospital of East Ontario. So welcome back to Australia. And then being hit all year, being in lockdown is crazy. So Denise has developed and leads the Be Sweet to Babies program, which is research that focuses on improving pain management for sick, preterm and healthy newborns, infants and young children. The research is conducted in partnership with parents, which Miracle Babies is heavily involved, clinicians, students and other researchers. And part of us having the discussion today is that we want you as families to be involved in this research. So her research explores ways to translate the knowledge into clinical practice, both here across the country and globally. She has some YouTube videos which show the power for parents, the power of them comforting their babies during some painful procedures within the NICU. And then we're going to talk about the 3 ways that as parents you can help your baby during this time. So again, welcome, Denise.
Thank you so much.
So one of the things I guess that appealed to me about this project is as a parent, you watch your baby go through so much, and I don't know if it really, and we've had this discussion, I don't know if it really hit me about how much a baby goes through within the NICU that isn't with pain relief. And you think of babies getting lines put into their veins or, the tubes down their nose, their throat, the way that, heel pricks to be able to draw blood. So it's really heartbreaking, but so that's why I wanted to have you on. I wanted you to share everybody your work and why you do it.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for inviting me. It's a privilege to be the first of a live
Absolutely.
chat too. So I've actually been working with all sorts of miracle babies since about 1986, so a long time. So I've looked after thousands of babies and have had the privilege of being involved with thousands of parents and grandparents and family members. So this work started as a neonatal intensive care nurse when I became quite angry and sad all at once one day when we were putting an IV in a very sick, compromised baby. And he actually became worse with the pain. And so I thought, we have to do something here. This isn't good enough what we're doing, which, you know, unfortunately back then in the 80s, we really didn't know much. We cared for surgical babies pretty well, but for those frequently occurring painful procedures, we really didn't do anything to reduce the baby's pain. We didn't know what to do. So that's actually what started my research. So I moved from being a clinical nurse really into working with families and nurses and researchers on how we can reduce pain. And so all these years later now, at least we know there's very good evidence for three main strategies. So if your baby's recovering and able to feed, breastfeeding during the actual procedure, so if it's a heel lance, it's certainly easy to do. Breastfeeding during the procedure, once the baby's latched on, really helps to reduce pain. So there's lots of evidence about this. If babies are too small or too sick or not feeding yet, just holding the baby skin to skin, so the baby's just wearing a nappy and a mother or father or other family member can do this, although most of the studies are done with mothers. So holding the baby skin to skin while the nurses do the heel lance or the venipuncture can also really help. So those two strategies rely on the parents being there. And of course, we want the parents to be there as much as the parents can be there. They're your babies, and this is something that you can really do to help your babies. But then if you can't be there, giving very small amounts, like just a drop of sugar water, there's also a lot of evidence that that helps to reduce pain. And so in the NICUs over the years, that's the strategy that we mainly use, because it's very hard for parents to be there. And in the units, in the NICUs, we tend to do bloods at pretty unsociable times. And so my work is really working with parents as well as nurses and doctors to help make sure that we use these strategies for these sick babies.
So how much do you think it's already in practice? Like, are these three things happening already today in NICUs?
So we're pretty good mostly about using sucrose, but we're not so good at welcoming parents at all hours and working with parents to hold their babies during the painful procedures. And so the language we use really should be, well, your baby's in, you're holding your baby skin to skin anyway. Your baby will need a blood test in a few hours, so why don't we do it now? Or working with the parents, your baby will need a blood test tomorrow morning. When can you come in? Like, when can we make sure that you're available and you're there, and we can help you get the baby into skin to skin and do the blood test. But studies have shown that we're actually not very good at doing this, and this is why I'm really looking at, first of all, doing this survey. We've only surveyed mainly nurses, but we want to see parents' perspective, because this research needs to come from parents and nurses. We can't just ask the parents what they prefer without making sure the nurses and doctors have the evidence, and we can't just...
partnership, isn't it? Working
right.
together.
We can't just throw the evidence and the teaching at the nurses and doctors without involving the parents. So it's really trying to bring the whole group together, as you said, in partnership.
Yeah. So why do you think at the moment it's not happening? Why wouldn't this be common practice? Is it knowledge? Is it the time to do it? Because I know nurses are very busy. Yeah, like, why wouldn't it happen when it just sounds so simple? Because it's really scary when your baby has to go under any procedure. And this is so universal, because I don't think there's one baby in a NICU that's not going to have some kind of procedure. So this is every single baby that goes into a NICU is going to have some kind of procedure or medical process done on them. Why isn't this then standard practice?
So part of it is cultural. Like for a long time, we've been used to, as nurses, even our language, we used to refer to the babies as our babies. They're not our babies, they're your babies. And so part of it is cultural, and parents were still seen, unfortunately, as visitors. And you're not visitors, they're your babies. So part of it is, well, we do these procedures when parents aren't there, or we encourage you to go out for a coffee or a sleep or a walk or back to your other children. Plus also it is hard to be there all the time. So there is a group that's mainly out of Canada, but there are sites around the world that's called FICare, and that's family integrated care. So that's really a total different culture where parents are there. They're there in the unit all the time if possible. But this is still very new and still very difficult for some families to be there all the time, and difficult for units that haven't embraced this different culture. So part of it is cultural. There is a bit of knowledge, and it's not knowledge about the evidence, it's about knowledge on the effect of babies. So some of the time we think, well, it's just one heel prick, but the problem is it isn't just one heel prick. Like you said, it can be, 30, 40, 50 heel pricks over the course of a sick baby's stay. So part of it's
Did you say in your research that you found that those painful procedures can brain development and can affect their development? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so there's some really good evidence now that shows that it's the number of painful procedures that poses the highest risk of poorer outcomes. So obviously very premature baby have a high risk of poorer outcomes anyway, but the actual number of painful procedures really adds to that risk. And so ever since I started this work, that's what I've been trying to promote, that it's the number of painful procedures, but most painful procedures have no pain management. So we not only need to reduce the number of painful procedures when we can, but it's really to promote use of the best practices during those procedures. So there is no painful procedures where good pain treatment isn't used. That's the ideal. Like sometimes we have to do these procedures to keep these babies monitored and keep them alive, really. But what can we do to reduce the pain during every single heel lance, every single venipuncture, every single injection?
Well, I'm really proud of the work that you're doing, and obviously it was one of the reasons why when you came to us about being involved, and particularly you've mentioned FICare, which is also a project that we've been involved in. That, just for those that are watching, initiated in Canada, and then Australia and New Zealand NICUs took part in the research of that, and that is family integrated care, where parents' involvement becomes just standard as part of their care. They're not looked at as visitors. They're actually part of the baby's care team. They participate in rounds. They'll help write reports, and then they do the majority of care for their baby, including, and part of it was that they would be there for 6 hours, the minimum of 6 hours in that study, and most of the time that the babies were being held. So I think with those kind of things, hopefully, over the time, and it's definitely changed from when I had my boys, that there has been a culture shift, and this is part of that. Bringing in those principles, I guess, of FICare are also, two of the ways, whether it's kangaroo care and holding your baby skin to skin, plus also breastfeeding, are two of the measures to then support them through having painful procedures. So I think we are getting there. We are making some progress, and it's wonderful to be able to use platforms like this to be able to educate parents so that when they're in the NICU, they can start having that conversation, and they can actually talk to the nurses that are caring about their babies and watching things happen. How can we get involved? How can we, help support the baby? And it's not only stressful for the baby, it's stressful for parents. Like, I remember how emotional it was going through that. Dylan went and had his eyes checked, and we weren't allowed to be part of that, and he was taken away, and they said, it's better that parents aren't there for that. But knowing that he was going through that process where they were, clamping his eyes open to do the testing, when he came back, you could see how much he'd been crying, how red his face was, and not being able to be part of that. So it's not only, supporting the babies, it's supporting the parents emotionally, which is why this conversation is so important.
Yes, and one thing that nurses, when we explore how nurses can help parents be there, often we report as nurses that parents don't want to be there, but when we ask parents, they do want to be there. So sometimes that's, again, why we need to
option. Giving parents the options, either way, because there's no right or wrong way when you're going through this journey on how you will emotionally cope with it, but it's being able to have those options and being able to support them through it. So why don't we talk a little bit about the survey and how people, families can get involved and help you?
Yes, thank you. So we're launching a survey exactly on this, how parents can be involved during painful procedures. And many years ago now, once I started working with families, I realised that there's no real good ways to share the knowledge about how parents can help. And so I partnered with mothers and families and organisations and produced what we call a Be Sweet to Babies video. And it actually shows how parents can breastfeed during a heel lance, hold babies skin to skin during a heel lance, or you can't tell, but it is a father's hand giving very small amounts of sugar water, sucrose, during
Dad was so important in this whole process. To be part of this, absolutely.
And the video is quite short. It's 4.5 minutes in English. We've produced it in 9 different languages, the most common languages spoke in the world. And it's really co-produced with parents, for parents, but obviously nursing staff and other medical staff can use it too, and they have used it in their teaching training. It's endorsed by the Baby Friendly Initiative, and it's produced in a language that's very user-friendly and shows how parents can help and how parents can work with doctors and nurses to use these procedures. But the thing is, we've never really asked parents, had they seen it before? What do they think? Have they used these strategies? And is this video likely to be of help to them? Or do we need to do something more to make it more specific to these miracle babies, to these tiny, sick, premature, sick babies? And so that's what our survey is about. And we've partnered with Melinda, Miracle Babies, and the survey is now on the Miracle Babies website, but will be officially launched on World Prematurity Day.
That website, which I think is provided in the link, and we'll keep providing that. So I might actually quickly, I think I have some screenshots that I can show. So when people go to the link that's listed on, that's live now, this is the screen, this is the page that they'll get taken to, and then there's a little bit about the survey, and then they can click the survey link, which will then take them straight to the survey, some instructions, and then on the front page there is also access, and you'll be able to watch the YouTube video. So you said that this video goes for about 4 minutes, is that correct?
Yes.
Yep. So then watch the video and then just click on the little arrow, and that'll take them straight to the survey. So what kind of questions is inside the survey, and how long do you think the survey will take for them to fill in?
So we pre-tested the survey with a great group of parents in the Miracle Babies Foundation. So it takes less than 10 minutes, about 8 minutes. And so the survey will, as we said, we ask you to look at the video and then answer if you've used, did you know about these strategies? So that's knowledge. Did you know that breastfeeding skin to skin or small amounts of sugar water do reduce pain? And had you had a chance to use these strategies while your baby was in the intensive care unit? And had you seen the video before, and was it likely to be helpful at all? And then if you did use these strategies, what really helped you? What was it, us as nurses? Was it each other? Was it seeing these videos that really promoted you to ask the nurses if you could, or how you could use these strategies?
Mm-hmm.
And if you weren't able to, what were the barriers? Like, did you know, but it just didn't work, or the nurses were reluctant to let you use these strategies? And so there is a comment box as well. So feel free to comment and really let us know the ways that we can help work together with you, with parents, to improve use of this knowledge or the video.
And so what is the hope, like once you get the results, what is the hope from there?
So depending on what the results show us, I mean, the results may well be great. All of you out there may well have been encouraged to use these.
That's what we're praying for, isn't it? It's already happening.
Yeah. So that would be great. That'll give us great confidence. And again, we can share that knowledge about how we're doing here. But often with these sort of studies, there is room for improvement. So once we get the results, and hopefully we'll get results from a lot of you, so we really have a lot of information to go forward. So depending on what the results show us, if we do need to do more education for families, or do we need to do more education for staff, or do we really need to rethink how we work with organisations, the hospitals as a whole, in terms of really increasing the parent voice and promoting what parents want? So we don't know, but whatever, we really plan to use these results to improve care for you and your babies.
So I've just got a couple of comments that have come in. I might put them up so we can have a look. So Tricia said that she's had 3 premature babies that survived and 2 premature babies that have not. Each of my premature babies and myself and husband have been part of all of research participation offered. That's absolutely amazing, Trish, and that's definitely something, particularly through the foundation, that we want to help encourage parents to have a look at what research is available and participate. So that's why we're talking about this one today and how important it is, and we hope that you all do click on the link, get involved. Like Denise said, it's very quick. You watch a 4-minute video and then take a 10-minute survey, but the difference that it can make to the care that not only the babies receive but the families receive, and really be able to, you know, this is part of our mission, to be able to work together for better healthcare. So that's absolutely amazing. And then one more we've got from Alyssa, who has said, this is such an incredible program to be a part of. Love heart, and we most definitely be a part of this. So thank you so much, and that's what we're hoping. So keep your comments coming. I can see them as they come in. There's quite a few here, which is amazing.
And so again, these are great responses. So the bigger picture is, we don't want to just do research that we're interested in and then just almost tell the results at the end. It's really involving our family groups in our research right from the beginning. So Miracle Babies has been part of this right from the beginning, working with us on the survey to pilot test it to make sure it's relevant. So it doesn't just come from me as a ex-nurse, now researcher. It's really making sure our research is relevant and important.
And I think for me, so back in 2012, so I've been part of research as a consumer rep for 8 years now. I mentioned that in the beginning. When Miracle Babies was first initiated, it was really a parent support program, and we looked at ways that we could support the families through programs and services and resources, which is very much everything that we do today and most of our core business. So when I was approached by researchers to say, we'd love for you to be involved in research, I remember thinking, I didn't really understand why we were needed, because I thought all of that was taking place, and the care that our babies were receiving is absolutely amazing. We're so lucky in Australia. But then really understanding how important it was to have a parent voice, and to be able to bring us in to see what is important to us. Is it parent friendly? Are these projects something that you want to be part of? So it's actually been really amazing, and I've learned so much in the past 8 years, and it's so humbling and incredible as an organisation that we're able to use these platforms to bring other parents in. And, you know, there's a little army behind us saying that we want to be part of this too. One of the things that I didn't mention, and I might quickly bring that up, just back on this screen when they click through on the link, there is just at the top the opportunity to join our Nurture Network. So that's our families who do want to be highly engaged in research surveys like this. So they can actually click that, pop in their name and email address, and then every time new surveys become available, they'll be notified to take part. So if you're interested in doing that, we would love to have you part of our Nurture Network to be able to help researchers like Denise in their work and be part of advancing the care for our babies. So is there anything we wanted to leave us on? I might bring up those 3 strategies again. So the being able to do kangaroo care and also breastfeeding is parents' responsibility. So the other one, which is giving sucrose, so that's something that the nurses obviously provide, and the parents can be there to take part in that. Can parents ask for that within the NICU?
Absolutely. So right from the start, parents can certainly ask to be there whenever possible. Obviously, for non-urgent blood tests, whenever possible, if you can be there and hold your baby, and then once your baby's getting ready for discharge, and once you're really increasing the breastfeed, so you can request or inform you want to be there and breastfeed or hold your baby skin to skin, and if not, obviously giving sucrose. So as I said, most NICUs are better at sucrose because we can control that and give it, and it's quick and easy, but it's very effective for you and your baby, and comforting for you too, to be there, to be able to hold your baby. And so, yes, that's something that we really want parents to discuss right from the beginning.
Well, the principles of PHI-care, which include the breastfeeding and the holding of baby skin to skin, you know, the other benefits that showed was, you know, being able to regulate babies' temperature and heart rate, you know, blood pressure. You know, babies that have more interaction with their parents, you know, were shown to have less hospital infections, shorter stays in the NICU. So there's all these benefits when parents can be so much more involved in the process and looking at ways to do that. So and having this part of it, and like I said, you know, being able to support a baby through any kind of painful procedure is so beneficial for them and the parents.
And the great news about breastfeeding is it works up to about a year of age. And so you can continue to breastfeed during vaccinations at 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, maybe 12 months. There's less research about 12 months, and most parents prefer not to breastfeed during vaccinations by that older age group because the babies want to look off and see what's happening around them. Yeah. And so there are also Be Sweet to Babies videos showing breastfeeding as a little baby and an older baby during vaccinations as well.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. Make sure you talk to your GPs when you're having vaccinations if there's an opportunity to be able to breastfeed your baby during them to help them through that pain. Well, we're going to wrap up. I just wanted to say thank you so much. Again, the links are going to be shared. We'll be promoting this across the whole month, which again is NICU Awareness Month, and it's such an important project, and we hope that families get behind it and help you in the research. It's very simple, 4-minute YouTube video and a 10-minute survey to be able to make a difference to the pain management of babies that are in the NICU that are premature or sick. So thank you so much for coming on. It's really lovely to see you.
Yes, and thank you for inviting me. It's a great privilege to be here for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
So there you go, guys, our very first live, which is absolutely amazing. As I mentioned, next week we will be talking about paid parental leave, the government scheme. It's something that's been on our radar and that we've been a voice to and campaigning on behalf of all of you for more than a year now. So that will be same time next week. But again, in the meantime, please click on the link. I don't know which way my hands go. This one down here. Make sure you come across and have a look at the surveys. please participate in the Be Sweet to Babies survey. It'll make a massive difference to families. And also consider being part of our Nurture Network, so that when new surveys like this, and we had one of the comments say that, you know, they'd love to participate in projects, please sign up so that we can do that. I'm just going to quickly end, because I've just noticed that there is one comment that says the nursing staff at King Eddie's NICU in WA were incredible, so encouraging, were involved in all cares. I've watched how many babies thrive with parents during cares, and those that struggled more when parents weren't present. So that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's what we hope. And we know part of FICARE, and we were part of that project, is being able to work a lot closer with the NICUs and really integrate parents into care. And we know that the NICUs and the staff are definitely open to that. So we're here to help support that, and absolutely fantastic. So again, please be part of our research surveys, and I will see you same time next week. Bye.